everyone and welcome back to another Batman miniature game 3rd edition battle report. I was going to give Sora a cameo but she just left. Today we have 350 rep of Organised Crime featuring their brand new objective deck just released. I hope you saw the unboxing a couple of days ago. Going up against the Teen Titans team, which is hard to say, Teen Titans team. Last showing of this map layout as well will get changed up for next time, but very eager to just jump in and try the objective deck. This is an objective deck and team I've actually played digitally, and it did okay. Let's just put it that way. Teen Titans are very, very powerful though, especially in 3rd edition. But we'll see how they do. Warning up front, it might not be a fair showing for the Organised Crime deck with this particular crew. The Organised Crime cards seem to fit the Black Mask crew that just got revealed a lot better than the existing miniatures, but that's just an opinion. Anyway, let's look at the crews. So here is the Organised Crime crew. Quite a few miniatures, 2, 4, 6, 8 miniatures, being led by the Roman, Carmine Falcone, and he actually provides extra 500 funding, putting this crew at 2,000 funding rather, and all of it is being used up by the guns present, so there is no extra gear being bought. So he is here. His son Alberto Falcone, otherwise known as the Holiday Killer, is here as his sidekick. And then as a free agent right at the back we have Killer Croc, and then we have Gustav Gustafsson, we have Showtime with his assault rifle as a truck beeps outside the window, we have Vipera, we have the Bull over here who's going to be bodyguarding Falcone, and then we have Agent 47 whose actual name in the game is Showtime, the one I always forget because it's Agent 47, looks just like him. And with the new objective deck that Organised Crime has, they have a new feature which we can have a look at here, specifically this side first. So they have the black market rule. So when they score objective cards, they have a money value on them. Most of them are $100, but I think there's some 200, maybe one 300. And you keep track of that money on this card, and you only get it if an objective card is scored by someone who's within 8 of the boss, I think. Let's see. Yeah, because you have to be affected by the Inspire. Oh no, sorry, that's only regarding spending. Sorry. Someone who is within Inspire range can spend the money, and you spend the money on some upgrades. Now, a lot of Organised Crime is super fragile, so I don't think a lot of these are as valuable as they might appear, but it's free upgrades, and you're going to be wanting to score objective cards anyway, so you can buy stuff like removing damage markers, being immune to arrest, which is actually really good against like Batman crews and Teen Titans as well, because they brought the ability to arrest, and there's some other stuff. You can pause and read them if you want, but that's their new thing in 3rd edition, but we'll see more about that as the game goes on. And it is 6 miniatures in the Teen Titans team, being led by Dick Grayson Nightwing. Then we also have his true love Starfire, and she has the Moment of Glory, is it called? The one that gives you Living Legend for a turn, so you can take 2 activations in one turn. They're not allowed to be sequential unless there's no avoiding it, i.e. she's the last one to go, and you can only have Audacity for one of them. But if you really want to lay the hurt on someone, it's a very handy way of doing it. And we also have Beast Boy, Dick and also Hawk both have handcuffs as far as funding goes. Yes, but we have Beast Boy, we have Jason Todd Robin, who isn't very good but he's cheap, and then we have Damian Wayne Robin as well, and his inclusion in this team gives them access to the Court of Owl cards. Not that they're useful, but hey, they're new, just so mentioning it, they wouldn't be useful outside of Court of Owl's crew, but also the League of Assassin objective cards as well, so there is actually some of those in the deck, which we'll potentially see as we play. So yeah, that is the team. I think I've covered all the gear they had because they didn't have much room for funding. Anything else we can cover at deployment once we work out who is deploying where. So here we are at deployment, although I do have to quickly mention, did I forget to say that King Shark was in the Organised Crime list? He was hard to miss, I just don't remember if I said it, but he was there as a free agent. Anyway, the Teen Titans are deployed to your left. We're doing the opposite edges than last time. Organised Crime on your right, and Organised Crime will be taking first activation, and the Teen Titans have 2 passes. Also got to mention that 2 of the Teen Titans are sidekicks, so they lose 2 of the inexperience points, meaning that they have 2, so Organised Crime can make 2 of them lose 1 die from any roll they make in a given turn. We have Beast Boy down here in Hawk form, or bird form, to avoid confusion with actual Hawk. He's off by himself with Audacity. Nightwing and Starfire next to each other there, and then the other 3 up there, and only Jason Todd has Audacity. And then Vipera has Undercover, so that's why he's outside of deployment. Holiday has Hidden, and he's opted just to go right next to them. Both of them have Audacity. King Shark is there, the Roman is there with his bodyguard and also Showtime. And then up here we have Iceman, who does not have range on his assault rifle. So anyone who's lit up, hence why Nightwing is a bit further back than everybody, so he's outside of 4. He can just shoot at them with his triple blood assault rifle. It's very good. And then Gustav Gustafsson is hidden between these two buildings right down there. Oh, there is also one new card being played in Phase 2 by Organised Crime. It is called Recovering the Juice. So this is one of their new ones. Potentially worth 3 victory points. It scores at the end of this round. Not super likely to score, but is in play to make room in the hand. Target a friendly model other than the boss. That model reveals an enemy suspect marker and is still in the gaming area, i.e. not dead. Imagine, because it's words it like that, if they were on the table still but knocked out, that counts. So this would still score. And then if you do score it, you would get $100 of black market cash afterwards. So the model that is being selected is Holiday. So if Holiday reveals a suspect marker this turn, and lives to the end of the turn, he will score this card. Agent 47/Showtime was first to activate for Organised Crime with Audacity. He moved up to the corner here and he used to manipulate to put down the suspect marker. He had a free one from being so close to Falcone, but there was nothing else he wanted to do this turn. It's almost as if it was baiting the Teen Titans to come and get it or something. But yes, he's placed a suspect marker, did nothing else, and unless Teen Titans opt to use a pass, it's over to them. Well, apparently seemingly not to be outdone, Nightwing decided to activate with Audacity and he moved right up to the corner of that building down there, and has also put down a suspect marker at the other end of the alley that Showtime just did. He moved there also for another important reason, because Damian Wayne is a henchman, so he will actually benefit from Inspire, because he's now within 8. So he didn't do much else, he didn't use his back claw or anything like that, but he has put down a suspect marker to keep that going. Falcone's bodyguard, the Bull, activated without Audacity. He had a free manipulate, of course, by being right next to his boss, but didn't do anything with it because he couldn't get far enough away from the suspect marker to put down another. He has brazenly walked into the middle of the alley doing the well what is it pose from Dark Souls 1, and he is doing nothing else. He is taunting the Teen Titans to come and get him because of the guns waiting if they attempt to, and also the big angry shark. So we're sticking in this alley because a lot happened. Jason Todd activated with Audacity. He went up to the corner of the building there so he would have cover from any potential guns. And his impetuous roll kicked in because he attacked the person who was closest, which was the Bull, so he gets +2 attack dice, but -1 defense stat for the rest of the turn. So he's defense 3 right now, which is kind of bad. He goaded and made the Bull move by passing the opposed will check, so he got moved forwards 4 inches, hence why he's there. Then he threw batarangs at him, and as I said, he got 2 attack dice thrown in, which means he was throwing 5 dice in total, but he rolled 3 1s on a guy who's defense 2. So he only got 2 hits through for 4 stun. He has 5 willpower, I believe it was. Or is it 6 for the Bull? The Bull's kind of tough. Oh, actually, you know what? He actually has 4 willpower, so never mind, he is unconscious. So it's a good job that the goad was first, otherwise he would have been able to goad an unconscious man. But either way, you might notice that there is obviously a event marker right next to him, and that is because his being hit / knocked out, as it turns out, because he's a 4-5, not a 5-4, triggered Pinched Mobster. So when a friendly model takes damage from an attack, which he just did, place an event marker in contact with it. A model, so either side, can use a manipulate to move the marker 4 inches. If the marker is inside the Organised Crime deployment zone, you score this card, and it isn't at the end of the round, it's just in general, so that marker is just in play now. So if they can get it to roughly where Carmine is, because he was right up to the line, that would score this card. But yeah, got that wrong about the Bull still being conscious. He is knocked out, but that doesn't matter because the event card has triggered. Damian Wayne activated without Audacity, but now close enough to Nightwing's aura to get Inspire, since he is a henchman. He's the only henchman. All the other Teen Titans are free agents, and Jason Todd is a psychic. So he moved up to the suspect marker that Nightwing put down, and he revealed his own suspect marker in order to turn it into a valuable commodities. Oh, sorry, also this is the old valuable commodities card, so ignore the resource. It now lets you draw cards. But either way, this is the valuable commodities. The gist of the actual objective has not changed. He's holding the loot. If he holds it at the end of the game, or any of the Teen Titans, that will score 3 points. So obviously, playing it in turn 1 is a bit risky. It's in play for the entire game, but in the long term it might be worth 3 points, and also it gets a card out of their hand. Vipera activated, who was the blue suit gentleman to the left of Holiday. Only 8 inches of movement, but that was enough for him to move into apparently the alley where everything is going to happen this match. He was in base to base with the event marker. He manipulated, because he had Audacity, to move it 4 inches, and it has moved right there. If Alberto moves into it, that would be enough to move it another 4 to score it, I think. But obviously it does give up another chance to shoot a gun turn 1. Beast Boy was up next for the Teen Titans, and if you remember, he was on the opposite side of this building, down there in his bird form. He has a base move of 10, he's an acrobat, which puts it to 11. His bird form gives him another 4 for 15, and then if he flies, that gives him a ridiculous 23 inches of move, which he did do because he had Audacity, so he easily covered, I think it was 20 or 21 required, to go from here, right smack dab there, into base to base with Showtime, and attacked him with his bird claws. Showtime did not effort. Beast Boy put in 1 effort. Only 2 hits got through because he's only attacked 3, and this form doesn't buff him at all. We would need to be in one of his other ones. So 2 blood, 2 stun, all said and done. That puts Showtime at half health and half willpower because he's a 4/4 miniature. More importantly though, he can't fire his assault rifle in close range. Now he could technically move and just try and do 3 blood to Beast Boy, but as far as being a danger to everywhere else on the map, he is no longer a problem. Holiday walked away from the building he was at next, into base to base with the event marker. He manipulated it to move it next to the Roman, which is inside 8 inches, so that is gone, and that does mean that the pinched mobster card scores. So this is scored for 3, and also gives Organised Crime 100 black market money to spend, which they're actually spending immediately. Holiday is spending it on, because he's within Inspire range of Falcone, priorities. During this model's activation, you may discard an objective card. There was an unwanted card in the hand, and it is now gone. Starfire activated with Audacity. She also used Fly for her special action. She had a maximum of 18, I believe, inches to play with, but she didn't go that far forward. She flew up onto this building here, right to the edge, which put her just within 12, so she could see him clearly. Showtime, she was only rolling 1 die against him because she moved and fired her heat rays, but it got through for 2 blood, plus the damage that Beast Boy dealt. The Teen Titans just went and murdered a man. Showtime is dead. Sorry, Iceman. Showtime is Agent 47-1. Iceman is dead. No cards scored on it though, but obviously a triple blood machine gun no longer being on the board is a good thing for them. King Shark activated. No Audacity for him this turn though, so he just moved and he is ploughing down the alley where the big fight is going to happen next turn for sure. And that just leaves, now that Iceman is gone, Gustav and the Roman for them, and just Hawk, I believe, for the Teen Titans. Hawk charged straight forwards. He's got 10 inches, well, plus another 1 for being an acrobat, more than enough. He's ploughed down the street into base to base with the bull, presumably hoping to arrest him at the top of the next turn, because the Teen Titans haven't used their passes, so it is very likely they're going to get first activation. Not impossible that they won't, but it's looking likely. So anyway, now those 2 gangsters I mentioned, they just get to do whatever. So for those 2 last activations, the Roman, there wasn't much for him to do, so he just moved, so he's got someone he can put wounds onto if he gets attacked. And then Gustav Gustafsson stayed still between the buildings here. He could see Starfire. She got cover, but he shot his 5-shot carbine at her. 2 hits got through, but she has invulnerability 1, so that cancelled 1 damage. So all in all, she took just a single hit. And that is it. We're going to go into the cleanup for the first turn, see if any phase 4 cards are being played. So then about round 1, Beast Boy healed his 1 stun, and rather shockingly, the bull woke up. He needed to roll 4 or under on 2 dice, and he got a 3 for a 2 and a 1. So he is conscious, so it will matter for sure now whether or not the Teen Titans get first activation in Battle Round 2. There's 1 Phase 4 card being played by the Teen Titans, and it is a League of Assassins card, which again is in the deck because Damien is triple affiliation, Batman, Court of Owls, and League. So, the opponent doesn't reveal any of your friendly suspect markers this round, as long as you place at least 1. They did place 1, it did get turned into loot, but the card specifies as long as the opponent doesn't reveal any cards, so presumably this still scores, puts them on the board for 2. Damien is holding on to the valuable commodities for a potential 3 at the end of the game. And for Organised Crime, no phase 4s, and because Holiday did not do anything internally, didn't reveal a suspect marker, he just moved the event marker. Recovering the juice, did not score. So this is the top of turn 2, and it will be the Teen Titans going first. There's 1 phase 1 card being played by the Teen Titans, and again it's another League of Assassin ones from the shadows. Target an enemy model, mark it as an objective. If the objective model is the first one to remove as a casualty this round, score this card. The Bull is the marked man. So if he is the first removed this turn, be very surprised if he isn't, he will score that card for them because, well, even if he's arrested does count as a casualty. So Beast Boy's got Audacity, he's staying in bird form. Starfire has Audacity, let's see, Hawk has Audacity, and Nightwing has Audacity for the Teen Titans. And then for Organised Crime, Falcone, Holiday, King Shark, and Vipera all have Audacity. So with that, let's jump into Battle Round 2 proper. So surprising no one, I'm sure, Hawk activated first. He punched out the Bull, who only had one stun remaining after waking up. One inexperience point was used against his roll, and his roll was actually very bad. The strength die was the only one to get through. It did 2 stun to the Bull, knocking him out. He then spent his special action to use his handcuffs to arrest him and get him off the street. So this is going to score, but so is the League of Assassins card for him being the marked target, because you can only score one objective card in any given phase. But that card was played in phase 1, this card is played in phase 3, so presumably they can both trigger simultaneously. So that is a massive 5 victory points that Hawk just scored to Teen Titans, which is more like it. He then also retreated to the relative safety of getting cover behind that truck there for fear of potentially being mauled to death by a shark man. Though Organised Crime are actually interrupting play though to put down another event marker, which the Bull was already removed, but it definitely is there because Vipera hasn't moved and their initial action in turn 1 was to do what they're probably going to do this turn. It has become another pinched mobster, so the Bull took damage from being punched before being arrested. So another marker has been put down, can manipulate it to move it 4 if it makes it to deployment. That is another massive, actually, considering it's not that hard to score. 3 victory points for Organised Crime, if they're willing to use a couple of activations to make that happen. So King Shark had a busy turn that we'll have to go through. He moved into base to base with Damian Wayne. He and Damian both exerted 2 efforts, so 2 stun each. Then he attacked with his teeth and claws. He got 3 hits through for 3 blood, 3 stun. If Damian hadn't efforted, he might have survived being knocked out, but he has 5 willpower. So he's unconscious, he's dropped the loot he was holding behind him. Didn't score any cards, but he's not getting an activation now. And then as a resource, which I forgot to mention, the Roman actually gives Organised Crime 2 extra resource points for Grand Strategist. During a friendly model's activation, remove a friendly suspect. The one in front of Showtime was removed to move an enemy model 4 inches. And Jason Todd was forced to move 4 inches right into, this isn't Crime Alley, this is Death Alley. Well, you probably don't want to goad someone as unpredictable as Jason. He activated without Audacity, so he just threw more batarangs right into Vipera's face, getting +2 added dice for Impetuous, but losing 1 to Inexperience. That's both those points gone for this turn. Either way though, still managed to get 8 stun damage through, so Vipera is unconscious, won't be getting a turn, and obviously can't interact with the event square there. Didn't score any cards on it though. Showtime activated without Audacity, aka Agent 47. He shot his guns into Jason, and part of what makes Jason a little bit rubbish is that he doesn't have Acrobat. So 3 hits got through, 3 blood, 3 stun. He's still alive, obviously hurting a little bit. And then using his free manipulate from Falcone being right next to him, he put down a suspect marker, replacing the one that got removed a couple of activations ago. Starfire activated. She used Fly again to give her more than enough to come down here into base to base with Holiday with her triple stun punches, because she has steel hands which also have the push effect. She walloped, including using 1 effort, Holiday in the face, sending him flying into his father for 9 stun. He will not be getting a turn. Again, no cards scored on that though, but the Teen Titans are starting to clean house. Gustafsson was next up, and he might have just become MVP for Organised Crime. He used the last of his ammunition. He shot Starfire in the back. It did 5 blood, although actually 4 if you account for her invulnerability. But she already had 1 blood on her from the first time he shot her, so he has actually taken Starfire out. She is gone. Now you might notice there's 2 suspect markers there now. That is because Spring Cleaning is being played by Organised Crime. When an enemy model is removed as a casualty, before removing him, the opponent places 2 of their friendly suspect markers within 4 inches, ignoring the normal minimum distance between them. They're far away because they won't want as far away from the models who could potentially reveal them, because this card just stays in play and it will score when both those suspect markers are removed. So that is now just in play. It doesn't score at the end of the round, it's just in play. So that's a potential 2 points once those have been taken out. Beast Boy activated and he was right here, but he flew his massive distance all the way into base to base with Carmine Falcone and attacked him. However, with the For the Family trait that Falcone gives all his henchmen, it gives them bodyguard basically. So Showtime took the hits for him, and as a result, Showtime took 2 blood, 2 stun from the clawing from Beast Boy, and that puts him at half health for both, well, half willpower, half endurance, because he's a 4-4. And I think it is just Falcone left to go now for a battle round 2. So Falcone did activate, however, forgot to mention though, at the end of that last turn when Showtime took damage, the final Pinched Mobster was played from hand, so this also created an event marker right next to Showtime, which when Falcone activated immediately manipulated and moved it, and that is within their deployment, so that card is actually immediately scored, giving them 100 funding, and more importantly 3 victory points. The other marker is still in play, it's a different card. He then moved into base to base with one of the 2 suspect markers that needs to get removed to score that spring cleaning card, but obviously couldn't do anything with it this turn. So that does take us to the end of a very bloody battle round 2. Oh, forgive me, it was not over yet because Nightwing hadn't activated and he had Audacity. He moved and made sure to move over the loot in the movement he did, so he is now holding it, but he didn't retreat. He came into Murder Alleyway rather, into base to base with both the event marker and Vipera. He used his special action to use his handcuffs to arrest Vipera, so Vipera is a casualty. Then used their tactical action to manipulate the event marker and moved it 4 inches away from the deployment zone. So now we're actually at the end of the battle round. At the end of battle round 2 there is one phase 4 card being played. It is another do not deviate from the plan. The opponent doesn't reveal any of your suspect markers as long as you placed at least 1. And the Teen Titans were forced to place 2 of them. Those were the only 2 placed. And neither of them were revealed, so presumably that counts for a 2 victory point score. There is plenty of cards still in play. The loot is still in play for the Teen Titans, which Nightwing is now holding. Spring Cleaning is still in play for those 2 suspect markers to get removed. And Pinched Mobster, the other Pinched Mobster, is still in play, although the event marker is now even further away from Organised Crime's deployment. In terms of KO checks, Holiday did not wake up, which is massive, because he has a pretty good gun and you can't use it if he's knocked out. But neither did Damien, he also stayed knocked out, so that's interesting. With that, let's go into Phase 1, Phase 2 for Battle Round 3. So at the top of Round 3 it will be Organised Crime taking first activation. There is 2 Phase 1 cards being played by the Teen Titans, none for Organised Crime. And here they are. So it's another From the Shadows, and the Holiday Killer is the marked target. His unconscious body on the floor is now worth 2 victory points. And then there's also a Die Hard, because who doesn't put Die Hard in their objective deck, I guess. And the target for this, who's not allowed to be the boss, it'll be Hawk, who's still hiding behind that red car up there at the top of your screen. So that's 2 more cards in play for the Teen Titans, along with the valuable commodities that's still obviously just sitting, although on Nightwing this time. But is Organised Crime going first? Oh, we can take a quick look at Audacity. Felt like I said that weird. Gustav has it, Carmine has it, Showtime has it, and then King Shark has it, because the only other person is Holiday and they're unconscious. And there's only 4 conscious Teen Titans because Damon's knocked out, so they all have Audacity as well. And Beast Boy has changed into his gorilla form. King Shark was first up for Organised Crime, and he attacked the unconscious Damien, easily doing 5 blood, 5 stun. He has devoured the Wayne child, he is gone, and in doing so scored a message job. An enemy model is removed as a casualty. Simple as that. 2 victory points. Harvey Dent becoming Two-Face there from the Long Halloween. Another $100 of black market money, putting them at $200, I believe, for spending. And then King Shark, oh, he also efforted once to use Swift, which puts his movement up by 2 inches, because that gave him enough to come down here and kind of body block Falcone a little bit. So he's just so no one can come right around the corner, they'd have to come all the way around. Oops, as I hit one of the buildings. So he's protecting him that way, but if he wanted to spend the money, he actually can't, because it says you have to be affected by the inspired rule, and free agents aren't. So it's only henchmen, so it's not super useful. Because henchmen for Organised Crime are paper thin. Either way though, King Shark has removed an annoying threat and scored a card. Nightwing activated, and despite carrying the loot, opted to charge right in there. He placed himself in base to base with Showtime and then also the unconscious Holiday. He arrested Holiday, which again counts as a casualty as per the definition of the arrest rule. So From the Shadows has scored, but also so did I get them off the streets for being an arrest. So that is another 5 victory points for the Teen Titans. Showtime's gun is light, so he will still be able to fire it at Dick, but at the same time Dick is an acrobat, so he can mitigate a lot of the damage there. The risk will be King Shark in the final turn for sure. Carmine Falcone activated, and for his special action, because he had Audacity, he used Bluff on Beast Boy to lower his attack and defense, I think just attack, by 1 for the round. He then revealed with a Manipulate the suspect marker he was next to, and as weird as it is, that does trigger Paying Tribute, which is an oddity because they need to change the description of this card. Play this card when a friendly model reveals an enemy suspect. Carmine revealed an enemy suspect. That friendly model places a suspect within 4 of a friendly boss. He is within 4 of himself, but the way this really should be changed so that it says, like, in brackets, not your boss, because you're paying tribute to the Godfather essentially. But rules as written, he can place it and he is a friendly model, and then he is also within 4 of himself. So if Carmine puts down a suspect marker in the final turn, this card will score. It's weird. We had that come up when we were playing digitally, but whatever. So, also, he did also move back, specifically so he is just outside of the 10-inch threat range that the Angry Gorilla has. Jason Todd activated, he charged down Murder Alley into base-to-base with Showtime, who was then outnumbered because Nightwing is in base-to-base with him as well. Attacked with Robin's bow, single blood, handy, etc. Did 3 damage, had 2 on him already, just needed to do 2. So Showtime is dead. And then as a resource, not as an objective, as a resource, They Must Know Pain was played, so that Jason healed 2 damage on himself, so he's back to only having 1 blood on him. And let's see, now it's over to Gustav Gustafsson, who's last man standing, who hasn't gone yet anyway, for Organised Crime, and then back over to Hawk for the Teen Titans. So Gustav moved up and revealed that other suspect marker. He has no ammo, so there's nothing else for him to do. Oh, also I forgot the Beast Boy hasn't activated, so he could definitely cause some problems there, but that spring cleaning that was in play, now that both those markers have been removed, has scored for 2 points. Also, in him revealing that, another Paying Tribute is being put in play. Come on, that's not in focus. Anytime you're ready, camera, come on now. But another Paying Tribute is in play, so that does mean that if Gustav... Oh my goodness, it is really struggling with this card. There we go. If he puts down a suspect marker within 4 of Falcone, that card will score. And they're up to $300, I think, in money now. Didn't actually check if Gustav could buy anything relevant to help save his life, but it doesn't look like it. Only if he was targeted by a ranged attack. So not really. Actually, you know what? He can spend 200 of it to give himself some ammo. So why not? Yeah, he will both give himself some ammo, and then he'll also spend the remaining 100 on blackmail, which is you target an enemy in line of sight within 8 to suffer enervating 1, and he'll use it on Beast Boy, so that Beast Boy cannot do an effort. Well, 1 effort, he can still do 2 others, just to try and keep himself alive. So with a chorus of angry gorilla noises, Beast Boy charged down. He did 2 efforts because he couldn't do the 3rd thanks to being enervated, and he attacked Gustav and did 8 stun damage to him with his reinforced gloves. So if Gustav doesn't wake up, that could be real bad. But that, oh, and also for Hawk, he moved up to the event marker and he manipulated it to move it 4, just to basically guarantee that Pinched Mobster will not score, so it's just going to get discarded. With only 2 miniatures potentially left for Organised Crime, there's no way they're getting to that and manipulating it into their deployment zone. So that does take us to the end of the penultimate round. So there's no additional cards being played by either side. However, the Die Hard for Teen Titans scored because Hawk was utterly untouched. So that's 2 points for them. Gustav has not woken up, so he's just sitting there as a potential arrest target for the final turn. That means his Paying Tribute is also being discarded because he can't score if he's unconscious. Valuable Commodity is still in play for the Teen Titans, and the Paying Tribute that Falcone played on himself is also still in play. And with that, let's go into the battle round, the final battle round, battle round 4. So at the top of round 4, everyone who is left on the table that is conscious has Audacity, and there is 1 card being played by the Teen Titans. In phase 1, it is a From the Shadows, and the target is Gustav because arrested counts as casualty, so Nightwing just needs to walk up, arrest him, and boom, he's done. So, you know, that's in play. There's also a phase 1 card being played by Organised Crime though, and it is their Die Hard, and it's being played on King Shark, because, oh, for goodness sake, the camera sometimes struggles with lots of text. Because it's being played on King Shark because he is the tankiest person they have left. There's also 2 phase 2 cards being played by Organised Crime. Another recovering the juice. Target a friendly model. That model reveals an enemy suspect marker. Exceptionally unlikely to score, but why not? It's also targeting King Shark. And then also, Carmine Falcone's unique is being played, called The Dawn. The friendly boss is within 6 inches of the enemy boss. So assuming Falcone survives the turn, this is potentially possible, especially if Nightwing goes in for their rest, and they kind of balance each other out. But if not, he could still get taken out very easily. There's only him and King Shark left. So with that, Teen Titans going first. Let's get this done. So Nightwing moved up with audacity. He used his special action to arrest Gustav Gustafsson, scoring the aforementioned from the shadows, because arrest counts as casualty. Then he threw batarangs at Carmine's head. No one to bodyguard him this time, so he got 2 hits through for 4 stun. Carmine has 8 willpower though, so he's only half knocked out. And it's over to him or King Shark next. King Shark activated. He retreated into base to base with Beast Boy, who was in his gorilla form. He efforted twice. Have been forgetting to mention, but his meta skin rule has been giving him regeneration, so he hasn't just been healing 1 stun at the end of turns. He's been healing additional, and he can heal blood as well if he had any. He went mad on Beast Boy. He did 4 blood, 4 stun, which the 4 blood was enough to take out his gorilla form, reverting him back to human form, and the 1 stun he had on him already puts him at 5 of his 6. So he's still conscious, with 1 stun and 1 health remaining. Valuable Commodities was played as a resource, because you can't play it in this turn, to draw 3 cards just to try and get some options for scoring, and that's it. And that got discarded. So now it's over to either Hawk or Jason Todd. Or Beast Boy, I guess, although his ability to fight has been seriously reduced now that he's in physical human form. Jason activated and charged in impetuously, as is his way, but all said and done, he only got 2 hits with his bow staff through for a total of 2 blood. King Shark is large, so he ignores stun damage. 2 stun damage per attack, but the blood damage still goes through. However, he is tanky, he has 8 health, so he's down to 6 remaining. And now it's over to Carmine to end the Organised Crimes game. So Carmine put down his suspect marker, and obviously that was within 4 of himself, so he has scored the paying tribute, and then he moved just so he's within 6 of Nightwing to score his card at the end of the turn, and he demotivated Beast Boy just to make it even less likely he's going to contribute any damage to King Shark. And that might be it, unless Hawk can get close enough to either of them to do something, because Hawk doesn't have ranged attacks, so it's not like he can try and knock out Falcone. I guess we'll see. So just double checking Hawk's options, he cannot get into base to base with Falcone, and he can't get into base to base with King Shark because he would have to come all the way round to this side of Nightwing to be able to do that, and by himself, even if he had maximum results, Beast Boy would not do enough thanks to the large taking away 2 stun, because he doesn't have reinforced gloves, to be able to knock out King Shark by himself. So that is going to take us to the end of the game, and that does also mean, well, 1, recovering the juice does not score, that's gone, but the Dawn does score, because Carmine has ended the turn within 6 of the enemy boss. Not that the black market money means anything right now, but that is a massive 3 victory points. And King Shark lived, so they scored another 2. And the game ended with Nightwing holding the loot safely. So far the Teen Titans Valuable Commodities has scored as well. So here are the 2 score piles. Let's see how they did, because there was no phase 4 cards to be played. Organised Crime 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 on the low end of your rough average, 17. And the Teen Titans, there's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. An easy win for the Teen Titans, pretty much knew it was going that way. Although it is interesting to mention, like, bringing Damien and getting access to 6 of the League of Assassins cards makes such a massive difference. Like, how many points were just scored from him giving them these cards? That's 4. There's 6, 8, and then there was, all 3 of the From the Shadows got scored. So 10 of those 21 victory points were purely because of the objective cards you're allowed to bring, thanks to having Damien in the crew and him being one of the rare triple affiliation miniatures. I guess you could argue, even if these weren't in, there were snitches in the deck that just didn't get drawn, and there were 3 each. But yeah, the Teen Titans, especially thanks to these cards from League of Assassins, got a lot of points there. 21 playing 17. The Organised Crime deck is very difficult to play with the old school mobsters. That's what I found when playing digitally as well. The new Black Mask crew that's coming seems much more fitting for a crew like for a objective deck like this, and because you have to spend the black market money on inspired henchmen, it doesn't seem that great because they're all like 4 HP, so they die instantly. But it was a tough matchup. I think Organised Crime with this new objective deck is much like kind of like the Riddler 3rd edition deck. If you go against a team that doesn't really put down a lot of suspect markers, Teen Titans, Batman Who Laughs, who else? I don't know, any crew that doesn't really rely on suspect markers and are just going for the jugular, it's super hard because half your cards rely on you having suspect markers placed or removed or doing something to enemy suspect markers. So that's really tough. It's a very tough matchup if you get a crew that just doesn't really care, or a crew that does put down suspect markers but then removes them themselves, like Court of Owls. So yeah, it's a tough matchup for anyone who doesn't super rely on putting down a lot of suspect markers. Against crews that do put down a lot of suspect markers, this deck would be very good, like League of Assassins, the rest of the deck, not these cards, against the Riddler deck or against another Organised Crime deck. It's strange how those kind of matchups work if you have a deck that relies so much on your opponent doing something specific that they just choose not to do. The Teen Titans, they're desperate to get in there and beat people up. They don't have time to put down suspect markers for the most part, and the only reason they did, really, the one time they did, besides being forced to over here, was because Damien also happens to be a henchman, so he can be inspired. The rest of them can't be, which is also why they don't put down too many. So that's why I also said at the top of this, it wasn't a super even matchup. The Teen Titans are a pretty hard counter to how a lot of the new Organised Crime objective cards score. But anyway, that was a bit of an overanalyze at the end. We'll change up the table for next time. We'll try out, hopefully, another one of the new objective decks added or just released. Either Court of Owls, or Cobra Kulayaga, or Penguin. Something like that. We'll get around to all of them. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please do continue showing your support, and we'll see you next time. Ta-ta for now.